Hello, welcome back to Joon Golfs. We are about to get into another vlog that talks about course management.
Course management, my favorite part of this game.
Yeah, the headache of the game. Yes.
I've gotten really into golf because of course management. That's like where I feel like I participate and I get to like play with him is course management. And we figured out when we started playing together that I really like the game of golf. I love the strategy and I look at it, it's like I feel like I'm playing like a board game for like 5 hours. But I could not execute the shots that I would want to actually be able to play it as a player. And so that's kind of where
When did that click in for you? When did you realize that, like, oh, I like this side of the game and I could play this side of the game?
Once I don't remember when it went, but I remember like the round that we played. I had like started playing with you more when we moved here. And I was like, you don't know how far you hit each club. That was kind of a turning point. And you were like, I know about how far I hit the clubs. Like, I know how far my clubs go, but like not specifically. And I was like, okay, but that could make or break this shot and cost you a stroke. Like, this is something so simple and so easy. Why wouldn't you have this like documented? The data. I was like, you need data.
So what are you seeing people not have on, like, even when we're in tournament rounds, what are people missing that you're seeing in course management generally?
As far as that piece of it?
I mean, just in general,
just
course management.
So like there's the athletic part of golf where like you execute the shot with your body, but then there's the game of golf that you have to play with your mind because every course is different and every hole is different and conditions are different and your competition is different. And like there's statistically where you can get ahead, where you just need to be okay with par, like how to play this game and how to work the score to your advantage. So, and I think you need to plan ahead for that. You can't just look at a hole and be like, I'll just like hit it there and lay up there. And like, you need to like, what is the most advantageous route from this tee to that hole for me as a player? Should I lay up? Should I go for it? Should I like
actually stop and think about?
Yes.
Oh, it's not par four. I have my driver.
Yeah.
Let's hit it.
Yeah.
It and rip it.
Like, and what is the difficulty level of this hole? What are the conditions? Like, is my expectation of a birdie realistic, or should I be okay with getting a bogey and getting out of here? You know?
That's true.
So, and I think that can set you up for like, what are your expectations for this round? What are your expectations for this hole? And, you know, like managing your emotional state.
And those phases change, I think, when you're going from 110, 120 to trying to break 90. There's a different set of just game management choices that you make, and then going from 90 to 80, because now you're more trusting your swing, and then you have more predictability with your swing, and then you're going to get yourself in different situations. Like, how much did that birdie affect you to the next tee? Are you going from bogey to birdie to double bogey? Like, there's just different kinds of things. Even in going from 80 to 70 and 75 to par. Like,
knowing your player, like knowing your player and what are their strengths and weaknesses. Like, I know that if we need, like, you don't like hitting your long irons, you don't feel super consistent, you don't feel like that's a weak spot in your bag. And I know that about your game. So if our options are, you have like a 210 par 3, like, are you just gonna, well, maybe that's a bad example. Whatever. You have an example.
Spot, right? I mean, I would say 230 out from a par 5. I think that's probably a more likely scenario. Like, am I going to take a 7-iron?
Yes. Exactly. Like, are we going to just like take something longer that we know is more consistent and we have this narrow shot and we want it in there? Or do we pull out a long iron and we go for the green? And like, or is your miss going to be worse? And it could cost us a stroke. Those kinds of like conversations, that kind of strategy building, I feel like has changed your game. And yeah, when you're in the 70s and you're just trying to shave off like those last few strokes, it comes down to, you have to be that specific because it comes down to those mistakes.
Absolutely. Course management. What do you see attitudinally, from either my playing or from others playing? Like, where do you see people, like, what kind of course management do you see that could be improved or actually good that you've seen?
I think setting the expectations for a hole and for a round is huge because, like,
How do you do that?
by researching what is a realistic expectation. So, like, look at around, look at the conditions that day. What is a realistic number that I want to walk out of here with? Not just always 72, 72, 72. Because, like, what might be good for a course on a day might be 78 because there was like a lot of wind or like a lot of whatever. And
Sure.
so adjusting that so that, for like, first and foremost, doing your research or looking at a course and being like, me as a player, what are my expectations for me on this course? So I think setting your expectations before you even show up for the round, which requires a little bit of research. And then I think, I mean, you'd have to speak more to this. Like, how do you manage your mindset from hole to hole if you don't meet an expectation that you set for yourself? Like, let's say we were like, we need to get par on this hole, and we walk away with a double bogey for whatever reason.
Sure.
How do you bounce back to the next hole mentally?
Yeah, mentally, I think the expectation one is how often are you practicing and how often are you actually, do you have a feel for the game? Most of us that are together in this group is we work full-time jobs, we have a family, we have things that we're doing outside. Like, golf is not our bread and butter. So I've always had a hard time like, the expectation is I am not going to shoot 16 under, 15 under, 10 under, 6 under on a round, because that's just not where I'm at. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to go pro. I'm not trying to make this my career. So, like, really understanding those expectations are changing.
Yeah.
And letting that go. So what is my expectations now for me? One is gratitude. A lot of it is like, I'll spend one on a hole. I'll spend time just being thankful about a specific thing that is catered not towards golf, but just in life, and it allows me to let go of what is happening on the course. Oftentimes it'll be, so if something does happen like that, like what took place. I had a double. Okay, so what's going on there?
You do that. You'll be like, you'll hit like a really terrible hole, and we'll be walking to the next tee box, and you'll be like, you know what? My life is good.
Right. It's helpful.
It's true. Like, you kind of do like pull yourself out of the round to kind of get your head back in the right place. Like, you'll kind of play like, this is just a round. Like, I have a good life. I'm out here playing golf. Get the fuck over it. You do that. You kind of zoom out to like.
I have to. Yeah. And it also depends on what hole that happens. Like, if I get a double on the 4th hole, it's different than when I get a double on the 16th hole.
Well, and it also
feel different.
Agreed. And I also think whether or not you're in a tournament or just recreationally playing totally matter. Like, that totally plays on your mind differently.
Absolutely. Because then you're dealing with, the leaderboard, and, with technology, you can know the leaderboard now with who you're playing with.
Yeah.
And, it is a little bit different. I'd say I try to. You're more aware of what's going on the leaderboard than I am. And you'll ask me even halfway, like, do you want to know or do I want to know? And
sometimes I'll tell you, like, don't worry about it. Keep playing your game. Because I know something's going on that's not going to serve you. And so there have been times, like, I'm thinking of one in particular that I'm not going to mention, but there was a time I'm thinking about in particular. No, where where I knew, like, you lost a couple positions in, like, after like one hole, and someone that you really wanted to beat took the lead over you, and you were like, what's going on? And I was like, don't worry about it. Focus on your game. Like, just, I'm not spilling anything.
Yeah, right.
I was like, you just focus on your game, and you were like, fine. But yeah,
that's the benefit that I've had just in being in a relationship with someone that I know and I trust, and exposing even my vulnerabilities in this game, because I haven't had to do that. I didn't know what that meant or what that looks like, so we're still trying to figure out.
Sometimes I bring you down, though. Sometimes I fuck up your mental game, and like, we'll be in a tournament and I'm not in a good place mentally because of something, and I bring you down, and you're like, hey, I need you to, like, get it together because you're bringing me down, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah, that's
so that's happened too. Like,
being married, yeah.
Yeah, because I'll have like this perfect plan. Like, okay, I need you to do this. I need you to lay up here, and then you'll fucking blow it, and you'll hit like somewhere fucking stupid. And I'm like,
I could have done better.
no, I couldn't. But
You do think it for a second, so.
or sometimes it'll be vice versa, and I'll tell you to do something, and you'll trust me, and you'll do it, and it totally does not play out well, and you'll be like, I should have trusted my experience on that one. Why did I listen to her?
It's true. There is that. And committing to those choices and committing to that process. And I think we're learning that. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to get better at what that looks like, even on a daily basis, even on a live basis, what that looks like to really commit, be intentional about your choices. And that's why we're sharing this with you, because there's so much involved with not only the game, but our friendship and our relationship. And I think that can be beneficial to everyone. And so we want to know how your course management is. Where are you at in your game? What is it that you're struggling with? What is it that you're trying to gain some more insight and knowledge just to shave off those strokes that you need to play the best round that you can? So stay tuned, stick around, and we'll see you guys on the next one.